Hello, and good day. Welcome to the part 2 of my Emma Watson typing video. We'll compare my guess to the official typing from Dave and Shan, so feel free to go come up with your own guess before watching this video. Okay, I'm gonna quickly recap what my guess was before revealing the official type. The best guess that I came up with was double feminine, TiNe, consume, play, sleep, and blast last. Her official type was double feminine, FINE, consume, sleep, play, and blast last. This time around I was only 2 coins off, which isn't too bad. The 2 coins being thinking versus feeling and play versus sleep. So now I'm going to go over what I learned from their typing video on her. One point that I found was nice to refresh myself on was about what is introversion and what is extroversion. The way they phrased it was, where are you going to solve your problems? Are you going inward and searching for yourself what your problems are, or are you going out to places and people to solve the problems? And as the official type shows, she should be going into herself to solve her problems. An example I remember of this on her is that when she was trying to process how she was feeling about the Harry Potter series ending, was she went into herself and imagined all of the different things that she would be feeling instead of going out and pinging how other people were feeling or anything else like that. This next point isn't so much about what we got wrong with her type, but I thought it was interesting enough to share with people that might have had a hard time with it, and it revolves around more of how it is to be a DI decider. So when she was on the Jimmy Fallon show and talking about their first interaction between the two of them, they were talking about how she was first mistaking him for Jimmy Kimmel. And it's interesting to see how Jimmy Fallon, as an observer, wasn't freaking out over his identity and how she got it wrong. But her, on the other hand, she was dying over it. And part of this plays into how the DI deciders feel that they cannot share their weaknesses with the tribe. And I think that plays a lot into the fear of not wanting to be killed off. For the next part, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the differences between the feeling and the thinking when it comes to her. They showed a lot of really good examples on how she was actually processing her own feelings compared to dealing with the thinking spectrum when it came to making her decisions. I think one of my biggest mistakes when trying to figure out this coin for her was looking way too much into the specific words she was using. Like, she kept saying the words understanding and stuff like that made me think she was trying to block bang things together. But those were just the general words and not so much what she was actually doing and focusing on. The part I'm still confused about, and which will lead me into a question for you guys, is why was she getting so slow when she was talking about the feelings and the emotions of other people? The question I have for you guys is, how do you separate FI slowing down, possibly because it's showing more of the personal feelings of things, and how because it's that personal, it's going to be harder to want to share it, compared to slowing down because they're in a demon state of feeling and dealing with that? If you have any ideas, I would love to hear your theories down in the comments. Next, I don't really have too much to say about the intuition versus sensing coin, but for me, I just caught on to it after hearing how much she was generalizing and abstracting things, like when she was talking about the man box in one of her interviews. What is the man box? I have no idea, but it's a thing, at least to her. Another interesting point on that is that she just had a really hard time committing to a long role. She wasn't sure if she wanted to do it forever, and she didn't know when she would be able to change it up. Because as an OE, she doesn't want to be stuck in the same thing for too long because she wants to be free and open to the possibilities that she might want to get into. The ones she values, of course. Okay, now for the last point I have. There's some really interesting stuff when it comes to looking at how Blast Last works for the different types. It seems like having Blast or Sleep in the top 2 really helps you be able to speak, at least in a more fluent or cohesive way, without the mumble talking and the bird chirping and the rambling. According to what Dave and Shan said, people that are consume play seem to ramble a lot more, and I don't think she was really doing that. Everyone I talked to about her type seemed to understand that she just talked well generally. And then you have people like Elijah Wood, who are sleep consume and also SI, and he just talks way better and more clearly and consistently. The downside is he's talking about the same thing every time. So I think if I would have thought of it from this perspective, it would have really helped me get those middle animals correct. But another interesting note about people that have savior play, from what Dave and Shan said, is that people that have savior play seem like they are having to rediscover the information as they are talking, and of course, again, with the whole pinging thing. So when they're in a long conversation and rediscovering the information, they're gonna need someone to ping back and forth with on that information. And that about does it for this video. I don't have much to say about the feminine versus masculine coins, but to me, I don't think she was really pushing on other people. I think this is easy to see with how she talks about activism. She also didn't seem to be very punchy at all, so I think feminine sensing is a pretty good choice. It was pretty funny how Dave and Shan kept calling her a pixie with her pixie face. Anyways, how close did you guys get? Though I'm not too satisfied with being 2 coins off, it's still a lot better than my last guess, so I'm pretty happy about that. You should let me know in the comments what you got. And I suppose I'll see you in the next video. Bye.